everyone, welcome back to our 12 Days of Christmas video series called Sparkle All the Way. So what we're doing is a different video every single day for the first 12 days of December to kind of get you in the holiday mood and give you some ideas for gift giving. And what we're actually doing today is we're working with vintage jewelry that maybe was heirloom stuff passed down from your grandmother or your great-grandmother, just like family sentimental pieces that maybe they're not even functional. They might be broken and you need to make them into something else, or they might be totally functional just out of style and you want to kind of modernize it a little bit. And it's just a really good way to kind of take something sentimental and turn it into a really good quality gift without actually usually costing you very much money. So the first project that we're doing, this is just a really basic strand of pearls. Everything's fine with this. The clasp works. We just want to make it a little bit more modern and traditional. So if you've never cut pearls before, basically all you're going to do is take your cutters and just cut the knot and the little pearl pops off. And cut the knot and the little pearl pops off. And you're just going to do that for all of your pieces. If you're going to be just scrapping a bunch of stuff or parts, go ahead and cut it all up now so that we have little piles of beads so you know what you have to work with. So this is a whole necklace worth of beads, but it doesn't take very much to make a finished project. So you can take 2 beads and maybe add a little Swarovski crystal and make some earrings, or the same thing and make a bracelet, and now you've got, maybe 25 or 50 gifts out of 1 strand of pearls. So it can be something really simple, just kind of maybe topping it with a few beads, maybe some little bead caps or something to kind of dress it up a little bit. That's a really good way to kind of modernize things. You can make a whole cluster of things. This piece right here is just going to be a little cluster necklace. And this was actually a vintage piece from one of my grandmother's jewelry. And these will be turned into gifts for all of the female family members. And so I just made basically like a little earring. And so everyone will get a pearl from her original necklace, that type of thing. So it's just a really fun, sentimental gift. And this one I'm actually adding on the letter charm for our family name, Gardner. And so really cute. And just put your little bauble on there. And then it's ready to be strung on a chain. Or it could be a purse dangle or whatever you like. That's just a really simple way to kind of spread the beads around because they're still good beads. So you would never guess that this started out as just a really kind of basic, boring strand of pearls, but now it's something new, totally different, and it's a really good way to spread it around and give everyone in the family something that's unique to kind of remember that person by. For our next project, we're going to be working with clip-on earrings, and they come in all different styles. Sometimes the back is similar to this, where one part hinges and the bottom part is stable and still part of the earring. That's what we're looking for this project. If you have it where it's totally glued on and the door just swings open like a trap and the whole portion back here is used, it may not work for this. But to give you an idea on what you can do with this style is I'm going to cut it right at the base of where it hinges, trying to leave on as much excess of the little hook there that I can, so that way I have something to roll down and make a loop. And so all I'm going to do is take a round nose plier and roll it down until it touches and makes a small closed loop. Okay, vintage jewelry can be very brittle, so you need to go kind of slow so you don't break anything. And when you're cutting it, maybe wear some safety glasses just because it is so brittle. A lot of times little pieces will fly off and stuff and you don't want anything flying in your face. Okay. So it may not be a perfectly nice round loop like you're used to making with jewelry, but this is vintage. We're going to have to kind of take what we can get because if you mess with it too much, it will break. Okay. So we've got our little loop here. And all I'm going to do, I've already cut a piece of just kind of dainty gold chain. I thought that would go really well with it. I've cut it 17 inches because my clasp is going to add an inch to it. And I'm just going to string on my little pendant. And then add the clasp. And now I've got a really pretty vintage necklace. Kind of totally modernized. Doesn't look like a clip-on earring anymore. And really, really cute to wear. Alright, so the next piece that we're working with is a vintage pocket watch. This one, they all function a little bit differently, and it doesn't really matter what you've got, but this one, you push that little button on the top and it pops open. I am going to be making this one into a Christmas ornament. So this is a really good gift for a man or a woman, because a Christmas ornament can kind of be blingy either way and it doesn't really matter. So all I'm going to do, it has this really pretty loop on top, so I don't have to do anything there. I just cut a little piece of chain. The links on this do open. So all I'm going to do is open it with my flats, put it on there just as I would a jump ring, and close it up. So now I've got both a chain to kind of give it some length and a place where I can add embellishments. I'm going to add some crystals and some pearls and different things. So this is actually a pearl from another vintage piece that I took, and I am using caps to kind of embellish it a little bit and make it look a little bit modern and new and just a little bit fancier. I really like the antique gold and the antique copper caps for this type of stuff because it kind of keeps that vintage look, but is still making it fresh and new. And all I'm going to do for each of these is just make it just as I would a single earring. So I'm just going to make a loop on top. And since the pins are a little stiffer, if you need to use another pair of flats to kind of help you pull that tail around, you are welcome to. And then I would like mine to have a little bling. So I've got a couple crystals that I'm going to do the same thing with. I didn't want to add too much, but I wanted a little bit. And again, we're just making them each like their own individual earring, and we're going to attach them to the chain using jump rings. You can loop and wrap it directly on the chain if you want to. That's just personal preference. And then I also pulled a really pretty just silk flower. They need a little fluffing. Just kind of adjust it to be how you want it to be. But these are really cute, very wintry, Christmassy. And I typically prefer to start at the bottom so that way I can kind of see what I'm doing and then build my way up. So I'm just going to use some jump rings and start attaching everything. Actually, I think I will start with the flower on the bottom. And so when you put it on, you want to kind of hold it up and make sure that it's out of the way so that it doesn't cover up the prettiness of the pocket watch. Because if I put it here, see how it covers it? So actually I think I'm going to save that one for the top. So we'll start with some of our crystals on the bottom. I'm just kind of staggering as I go along. I'm going to put the flower on top. And then we just need a little ornament hook. We do have a lot fancier different options, but I kind of think just simple and let the ornament speak for itself is kind of best because that's supposed to be the pretty part. So you don't want it to be too blingy on the hook. So really cute, just kind of a really, really nice gift. Someone would be so surprised if this was their family members, something that had been kind of remade and modernized a little bit. That would just be a really, really nice gift for someone. So yeah, really good gift option there. All right, for my next project, this piece that I started with, it's a little bow. It was actually a brooch, and I cut the little pointy part where the pin was, and I cut all that away and just filed it with a nail file so it's nice and smooth. And I would like to make this dangle off of a stretch bracelet. So I made myself a little stretch bracelet. It's kind of like got a little vintage antique gold piece of hematite on there, so that way the colors kind of go together a little bit better. And the jump rings that I had on hand were a little bit too small for that, so I just grabbed a link of that same gold chain that we were using before, And I'm going to use that as a jump ring instead of a traditional jump ring. So I'm just going to put it on there and close it up nice and tight. And then remember, when you're adding charms to charm bracelets, you need to put 2 jump rings so that way it has a little bit more movement. And so I'm going to put my little link on there. And I'm just going to stretch my beads, and where I had my knot, I'm just going to use that ring to kind of cover up the knot, because a lot of times on vintage pearls and things, the holes are kind of small, so you may not be able to get the knot in there. So this is a really good way to kind of conceal the knot. And I used both the pearls from some of her jewelry and the little brooch here. And now I've got a totally new modernized piece that looks nothing like what it started as before. Alrighty, and for our final project, we are going to be working with a key. This could be anything. It could just be a key that you found, or maybe a key to a first home, or a key to like a family home. Just a really cool, unusual way to kind of memorialize something that you may not be using anymore, and kind of make it a memory or a keepsake piece. This could be used as like a purse dangle, a Christmas ornament, a necklace, whatever you want to whenever you're finished with this. I think this one's probably going to turn into a necklace. We're going to be doing some gluing, and I don't want to get glue everywhere, so all I've just got here is a little plastic bag so that I can work on without getting glue on everything. Alrighty, so I did go and scavenge a little bit around the store, and I found some pieces that I wanted to attach onto here. One of which was some rhinestone cup chain. Looks like this, just a little bling, and I have already cut an appropriate piece. I would say lay it down, measure where you want it to be, and cut it ahead of time so that way you're not trying to cut and hold the glue and everything. And depending on what's important to you, if you want to start at the certain point on the top or make sure it goes all the way down to the bottom, start there. I would rather make sure that it hits the bottom enough, so I'm going to start there and then glue it up. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, doesn't take a lot, on that line of the key where I want to put it. And then I'm going to start attaching on the bottom, and it dries pretty quick, so you need to work quickly. If you want something that gives you a little bit more time to play around with the pieces and move them around a little bit, go with E6000 rather than Bead Fix. Either one will work. The E6000 is just going to take a lot longer to dry. Okay, so a little bling. It's already looking better. That could be cute with just some dangles by itself. That would be adorable. Alright, I also found a really pretty pearl button. It's got little rhinestones on it, and I just cut the shank off on the back. So I'm actually going to put the glue on the button rather than the key. I think that might work a little bit better. And then just make sure you get it centered where you want it. Okay. Perfect. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Okay, so I also found this really cute little brass stamping. They come in all different shapes and sizes and everything. And I am going to put this kind of right here on the key just to kind of bling it up a little bit even more. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue and kind of position it where I want it on my key. When you're putting these things on, keep in mind you don't want to cover up the hole of the key, or you're not going to have anything to hang it with. Okay. Alright, we're just going to hold it till it glues together real quick. Alright, I also went and gathered up some different things that I can use for little baubles to kind of make like a little cluster on the top here. So a pearl with a vintage looking cap, kind of real antique-y style, super pretty. And then mix your metals. When you're doing all this vintage stuff, mixed metals is totally appropriate. So I got a matte kind of antique copper color bead with a silver cap, because I've got, you know, all this sparkle and silver around the button here, all different kinds of things that kind of play off of each other. So just mix it all up. I also pulled a really cool big chunky looking crystal, and I just took an eye pin and made a simple loop on the top. That way I've got a loop on the top and the bottom to work with, and then my cluster is going to be coming out the bottom here. And then a teeny tiny just little sparkly bauble. And you're just going to attach everything using jump rings. I think we're probably pretty good there. Okay, so I'm going to start at the crystal. I'm just going to leave that to dry for just a second. We'll attach it last. And starting at the crystal, I think I want maybe the brown one first. In whatever order you like. Just keep in mind you don't want to cover up the pretty part of your key when you get to the bottom, so make sure you give yourself enough distance on the bottom. And then a little bauble here. And you can make this as full or simple as you want. And I'm just attaching everything, one ring, one bauble, one ring, one bauble. And then I'm actually going to give it a little bit of distance, because if you look at this, my biggest bauble here, if I put my key right here, it's going to cover up half the key. So I'm going to go ahead and make some distance here with just empty jump ring links, making my own chain, so that way I don't cover up any of my pretty part of my project. And how much fun would it be to tell this story to someone of all the little pieces that you've put in here, of which jewelry pieces that you pulled them off of. It'll make a really great keepsake piece. So just because the jewelry that you're finding, you know, just because it's not perfect anymore, doesn't mean it doesn't still have a great purpose, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. I think we're going to go one more. And just make sure all these little rings are closed up really well, because you don't want anything important falling off, especially if it's a keepsake. It's super cute, just little kind of clustery. That's adorable. And then I pulled some just really super vintage looking chain, and I cut it 30 inches just because I knew I was doing a longer dangle here. You could do 36 if you have a larger person or someone with bigger bust or something that you would like to kind of accommodate for. And that's just going to make it a bit longer necklace. So somewhere between 30 and 36 inches is appropriate for a long necklace. That's kind of what you would find in the mall, that kind of thing. So I'm not even going to put a clasp on this because it's long enough to be thrown over the head. So I'm just putting on one end of the chain, my pendant, and then the other end of the chain. And this is a gorgeous, like really nice gift to give somebody. They would be so excited when you like actually tell them what the pieces are inside, because at first they're just going to open it and be like, oh, it's a necklace. But when you tell them, you know, it's their, you know, mother's stuff or their grandmother's stuff or something, they'll be so much more excited. So that is a gorgeous piece. So yeah, go find some old stuff and start scrapping it for parts and make something really cool, because there's still a lot to be done there. So hope y'all liked this video. If you did, give us a big thumbs up and maybe subscribe if you're interested in seeing more. We're going to do one for every one of the first 12 days of December. And as a thank you for joining us for our 12 Days of Christmas videos, we're going to be giving away this beautiful key purse dangle with little jade and crystal beads on it. And all you have to do to win the prize is comment below with which one of the projects you like the best, and we'll be choosing one person at random before the end of the day tomorrow. And we will let you know who the winner is. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye.